it's Dale here. I'm still working on my paper napkins and other sorts of things. So this is paper napkin part 3 now. This is a half of a whole paper napkin, if that makes sense. And just to show, here's the old thing about, I can't remember what it was or anything like that, but how useful it is to just simply stitch up a paper napkin. I can iron that out or keep it going. So that's a basic there. And then I've done continuing to do other things. So again, as I have said before, putting metallic thread just gives that little lift. This is possibly one that I may have added some other colour to, but the metallic thread just gives it something. And I haven't taken all of the stuff out, all of the napkin out, but I've just got it there. Here's another little one, exactly the same. It's the rest, another part of this one here. And over the top, I've put fusible webbing or Vlisifex or gossamer, and you can see bits of the webbing there. And then on top of that, I've foiled it. So you've got some foiling there just to give some interest. You could poke back out through the webbing if you want to, if you didn't want that there. But it enables you to put something like foil onto it. And this is the last quarter of that particular one, and I've trapped it. You can see the background. I've trapped it between 2 layers of polyester scarf, the nylon scarves, and again I've layered it, so you're getting a slightly more structured, more substantial piece, and you can then burn that back with a soldering iron or the heat gun to get it out. So it's giving you another layer. And next I've taken another one, and this one here, I've actually put the paper napkin on some netting, and I've cut out some of the flowers from the paper napkin, and I put them on as a little bit of an applique. So that's just very soft, and therefore, you know, you could use that for layering onto anything or as part of any piece that you're doing. And again, because I'm just moving on a little bit beyond, here's another one here. That is a paper napkin again, and I suppose you could call it applique and on the napkin. And I've made some flowers and with other paper napkins and put some cords on, so it got quite a bit of substance before you wash it out. Once you wash it out, it's a bit fragile. You need to put it onto water-soluble fabric or onto something else. But you can see there's the potential for adding, so applique onto there. This one here is just looking at a bit of a grid. It's actually not a paper napkin, as it turns out, but it's just making a grid up with some stitching on Romeo water soluble just to make another piece here. It's diverting slightly from the paper napkin and more into the little grid idea. And then I've mostly left my paper napkins behind, and I've gone on to some bubble wrap net just to make a grid with bubble wrap and netting and some stitch. So that's got the potential for great as a grid again. See how I've just pushed those out, burnt them out a little bit with the soldering iron. So you've got applique in that way to give you a dimension to put onto something else. Then I've used a napkin again that I've wet and mucked around with, and put a bit of organza on the top to make a little organza piece over the top of it and stitched on it. And as I said, before you wash it out, before you get rid of it, it's quite solid. And you can see that along the lines I've also stitched some other flowers underneath. So it's really just how using your imagination and seeing where that takes you. And then just to move along a bit further, I netted up some rope, which is falling to bits again, and an honesty plant. You might know those. It's falling apart, so it's an applique with honesty flower, and certainly got no seeds or anything like that in it. But it's just the possibility of ethereally setting something out. It's probably come to the end of its life. And again, this one here is applique again on it's silk fibre and a little bit of yarn and stuff to make a sort of a very open netting, and you can see a bit of stitching there where I've anchored it together. So it could be part of another piece. See the lovely luscious silk fibre. It's got lots of potential to pull out a lot more. And of course with the silk fibre, it's got its own netting structure, which makes it quite exciting. So that's this one here. I just put that aside to use on something. And then finally, I've used some paper, knitted paper. I've knitted some paper to make a freestanding sort of grid, like a paper napkin would be. But that's my knitting. And then I've used Japanese flower paper, and I've stitched some flowers in to make it very open. So it's just a little statement piece to finish off with. So there's a few more ideas emanating from the paper napkin into other grids and other bits and pieces. And there's more to come. So I'll see you again another time. Bye.